Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an event that is honestly just an absolutely staggering blend of sheer spectacle, unbroken ancient tradition, and, quite frankly, a monumental logistical puzzle. We are talking about the Jagannath Rath Yatra in Puri, India, and specifically, we're gearing up for the massive gathering happening in 2026. So, whether you're just fascinated by living history or you're actually planning to make the pilgrimage yourself, this explainer is going to break down everything you need to know. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the Festival of Chariots, the journey to Puri, securing your accommodation, and finally, some essential tips for 2026. Starting things off with Section 1, the Festival of Chariots. Now, to truly understand the logistics we'll be talking about later, we really need to wrap our heads around the scale of what happens here. I want you to picture millions, literally millions, of people packing into just a 3-kilometer stretch of road, taking part in a tradition that goes all the way back to the 12th century. To help you grasp the sheer magnitude of this, I've got a quick trivia question for all the armchair travelers out there. Where does the English word juggernaut actually come from? Take a second to think about it. Well, believe it or not, it comes directly from this very festival. Back in the 19th century, British observers were watching these towering, unstoppable wooden chariots moving through the massive crowds. They were just so overwhelmed by the sheer, unstoppable force of the procession that they actually coined the term juggernaut. That is the exact intense energy of the world's oldest, continuously celebrated chariot festival. Let's ground ourselves in the timeline real quick. The famous Jagannath's temple was originally built way back in the 12th century by King Anantavarman Chadagangadeva. Fast forward to 2026, and the Rath Yatra will officially kick off on Thursday, July 16th. For 9 days, the deities travel, and then they make their big return to the main temple on Friday, July 24th, in a massive ceremony known as the Bahuta Yatra. So mark your calendars because those are your critical dates. And who's at the center of all this? Lord Jagannath, which translates directly to Lord of the Universe. Now, this temple is one of Hinduism's 4 holiest sites, but what makes these deities truly unique and honestly so fascinating is that they aren't carved from stone or metal like you might expect. They're actually carved from sacred neem wood into these unfinished, limbless forms, which are ritually replaced every 8 to 19 years in a highly secretive, ancient ceremony. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound contrast it shows. See, for the vast majority of the year, the inner sanctum of the temple is heavily restricted. Only Hindus may enter. But for these 9 days of the Rath Yatra, the rules completely change. The deities leave that restricted space, and divine access is made universally available. Literally anyone, regardless of religion or nationality, can see them and even help pull the massive chariot ropes, which is an act that devotees believe wipes away lifetimes of sin. And this incredible theme of absolute equality is woven into the very fabric of the festival. Tradition dictates that before the procession even begins, the king of Kori himself sweeps the chariot platform using a golden broom. It's a powerful, deeply symbolic act showing that everyone, from a king with a golden broom all the way to the millions of commoners pulling the ropes, is completely equal before the Lord. But listen, even if you aren't visiting for religious reasons, Puri is an absolute magnet for cultural enthusiasts thanks to some really fascinating temple mysteries. For instance, locals will tell you the temple spire casts no shadow at any time of day. The flag at the top is said to fly totally against the wind. Oh, and the temple's kitchen? It cooks up one of India's largest daily meals, prepared fresh for thousands of people, and according to unbroken tradition, they literally never run short of food. It's wild. All right, moving on to Section 2, the journey to Puri. So the crucial point is that moving millions of people into a small coastal town in Odisha requires a logistical puzzle of epic proportions, and it all hinges on one absolutely massive number, 1,200. During the festival, the total combined regular and special train service pulling into Puri hits roughly 1,200 trains. That's the staggering capacity required to handle the absolute surge of travelers rushing into a station that's just 3 kilometers from the temple. And to actually make that 1,200 number possible, the East Coast Railway alone adds around 400 special festival trains, strictly for this 9-day window. These specials originate from stations all across Odisha, neighboring states, and even places further out, ensuring people from all over the country can make the pilgrimage. It's a real game changer for transport logistics. If you're currently mapping out your route, you've got a few major options depending on where you're starting. Coming from Delhi, your fastest option is the Nandan Kanan Express at just under 30 hours. Now, Kolkata is by far your quickest and most frequent direct route, taking as little as 7 hours on the Shatabdi Express. Coming from way down south like Bangalore, you're looking at a 30 to 36-hour journey. And a quick heads up, if you're traveling from Mumbai, you'll likely need a connecting train, or you might just want to consider flying instead. Speaking of flying, here's a detail you absolutely need to know. Puri does not have its own airport. If you're taking to the skies, you have to fly into Bhubaneswar. It's about 60 kilometers away from Puri. Flights from major Indian cities generally take between 1 and 2.5 hours, and from Bhubaneswar, it's roughly a 90-minute cab or bus ride straight into town. Which perfectly leads us into Section 3, securing your accommodation. Now, with crowds easily reaching into the millions, hotels near the temple fill up months in advance during this peak time. Seriously, you cannot leave this to the last minute. To avoid fake listings, because they do happen, stick to major trusted booking platforms. However, I want to specifically shout out yatradam.org. If you are seeking a highly devotional, super budget-friendly room, this site specializes in pilgrim stays, with rooms sometimes starting around just 500 rupees a night. And this brilliantly illustrates how your options in Puri really cover a massive spectrum of experiences. On one end, you have high-end luxury resorts like Mayfair Waves, offering sea-facing rooms and a private beach. But on the exact opposite end, you've got the traditional pilgrim experience in the Dharmshalas. These give you a deeply devotional ashram-style atmosphere, but keep in mind, actually this is super important, they often require advanced phone or email booking rather than a quick online click. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 4. Essential tips for 2026. Let's move to and see how this builds into a foolproof, step-by-step plan for your trip. Step 1. Book your transport and accommodation 2 to 4 months early. I'm not kidding, it's one of the most crowded travel periods in India. Step 2. If your reserved class trains end up waitlisted, don't panic. Unreserved general class special trains act as a very reliable, though definitely crowded, fallback. And step 3, because exact schedules for those 400 special trains are only finalized a couple of weeks prior, you absolutely must reconfirm your exact train times online in late June or early July 2026. Okay, one final crucial warning before you book a single thing. You are going to see countless hotel listings claiming to be near temple. Always verify this on a map yourself. Because of the sheer size of the town and how huge the festival footprint is, a listing claiming to be near can actually be 3 to 4 kilometers away. And let me tell you, that makes a massive difference when you're trying to navigate millions of people on foot. So what does this all mean? From the 12th century mysteries and the Golden Broom to the 1,200 trains moving an absolute sea of humanity, this festival is a total marvel of both ancient devotion and modern logistics. The chariots are already being prepared for July 2026. The real question is, now that you know exactly what it takes to get there, are you ready to become part of the juggernaut? Start planning right now, use this guide, and you'll be set for an experience you will literally never forget. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy travels!